everyone, welcome to my channel. So this is my channel. I'm Elvis Lass. I've been doing Elvis reviews for years and I have been a little bit quiet on my channel, but there's no way I could have missed a review of this book that arrived today by Lisa Marie Presley and Riley Keough. I listened to the audiobook, which was narrated by Julia Roberts, Riley Keough, and there was parts where Lisa spoke and it was beautiful. I listened all day today. Of course I have the copy, which I will treasure and keep. But I listened to the audio all day from 9 o'clock this morning until I just finished it 10 minutes ago, 6 o'clock tonight. It was 5.5 hours, but I had to fit in during my day, and I'm a carer and look after my children and things. So I had to fit in. But after each time after each part, I put my thoughts down visually. So I've collected them all together and I've put them into this video. And this is kind of like a review, but it's not a review, it's just my opinion, my thoughts after each part, my emotions, how I was feeling. If you're interested in that, then watch. It's full of spoilers. If you have not read this book, do not watch this. It is all spoilers. Everything in it is what has happened in the book, and I'm talking about it. So if you don't want to know anything, then do not watch this, please. So turn off now and buy the book for yourself. This will have you howling with laughter, but it will have you howling with tears. It's emotional from the very first start till the very end, and it's full of unbridled truth from a very, very, very spirited, truthful person. And Riley navigates us through her mum's words, and then she fills in the blanks, the gaps that maybe her mum was not able to fill in at the time when she was starting to think about writing a book. So yeah, it's very much her mother's book, but Riley's there too, all the way through, and as a gentle guiding hand, I guess, which I think is what was in her life also. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Watch it and go buy the book. Let's make it a bestseller for Lisa. Alright, so hope you enjoy. Bye. Hey everyone, so I'm reading Lisa's book. I've got the audiobook on and I'm just going to do it snippets like Lisa herself done, because I'll never remember. But I'm at the start now and oh, she's breaking my heart. She's absolutely breaking my heart. The beginning chapter when she tells us that she was never wanted by her mother, and it's just heartbreaking in itself. And that was initially, that's what got us off on the starting block. And then the parts with Elvis, she was just so loved. And it just breaks my heart that she didn't have him, because that was the warmth. And like she says, she inherited the chilly part from her mother. And she lost that warmth. She lost, oh, it's just so sad. But there's some hilarious bits. Elvis, goddamn, in the southern accent. It's just lovely. There's so many beautiful stories at the start that bring you a lot of joy. I was laughing, but so much sadness as well, and how much she feared that she'd lose her father. And oh my goodness, I've been listening to it on my run. That's why I'm so sweaty. I've been out and it's absolutely peeing down with rain outside. My glasses are steaming. They're covered in raindrops. It was just so atmospheric to be running and listening to Lisa's words in my ears, and how heartbreaking it was. Just so much childhood trauma that it's insane. The bit where but there was laughter, like I say, there was cuteness, there was happiness when she was with her father. And I think once he was gone, her life just became so hard to get through. But of course I've not got to the part where she's had her beautiful children, and that's when her dreams stopped, when she had Ben. That part, I was just so emotional, because it's true, when you become a mother, things change. And I can't wait to get to that part, because I think we'll see a more fulfilled Lisa.
But yeah, the part where Elvis smacked her on the hand because she had went on the bike and had got burned. It was hilarious. And when he came in and sang I Can't Help Falling in Love With You, oh my gosh, and he was singing the words to her and gave her a cuddle and said sorry, I was just like, my heart was just breaking for that baby Elvis and baby Lisa. He loved her so much and she loved him so much. And I would say that me and Lisa would have been best friends, I think, because she's his biggest fan. And that's how I feel. I think we would have been besties because we get the love for someone. Unbelievable how much closeness I felt to her at the start. Like, it was like, if there was the biggest fan in the world, it's Lisa. Oh gosh, it was so emotional. It was just so emotional. Other bits that were very, very interesting in the start part was with Ginger. Holy moly, she was the character assassination on Ginger, and this is just this is Lisa's views, and she's allowed them, like Ginger's allowed hers, and it's from a child's perspective. But in the book, Lisa's clearly saying that Ginger was dressed and looked very glamorous after her father passed, and she couldn't believe how glamorous she did look. What was the other thing about Ginger that she said? That Ginger and Elvis were always fighting, and she wasn't really truly there for him. And Lisa had overheard a conversation where they were arguing, and Elvis was always running after Ginger. So yeah, a different perspective from Lisa on that one. Hilarious about her Rory, who she fancied and loved, and she thought that they would get together, and they never did. But years later, she heard that Elvis had warned him, don't effing touch my daughter. Oh my god, that's so hilarious. It's so beautiful, really. And Rory said, I can safely say that I can tell you now. That was emotional. When her relationship with Priscilla is hard. My basics of it is she never felt loved or close, or that Priscilla ever wanted her. And she was just a thorn in her side, or just someone to get rid of. And Lisa does concede in some of this early part that she didn't know what to do with her, and Priscilla struggled with that part. But the bit that I just got to has made me rage. That baby Lisa was touched by Michael Edwards, and Priscilla knew and didn't say anything and didn't get rid of Michael Edwards. And my heart is breaking, and I found myself in the car just shouting. If Elvis had known about that, he would have been so, well, it would never have happened. And it just broke my heart that she went through so much of that trauma of child sex abuse, and it was known and nobody stopped it, the adults in the room. And that's, it really angered me. So I'm at that part, and I'm just putting, you'll see me dressed differently in the next part because I'm going to listen to it and then I'll put my thoughts. But from the first beginning until now, it's just broke my heart. Lisa sitting on the floor listening to her dad's music and crying. And then little bits when she's in the car and she put Elvis on for the first time for her 2 daughters and said, kids, this is your granddad. So there's so many little bits in it like that you're just like, wow, so emotional. But do you know what? Do you know what Lisa is? She's a badass. Lisa is like she said, I don't give an F. And she didn't. And Lisa is a spirit all in herself. And from this, I think she's just awesome. And what she went through was insane. And she's just the biggest fan of Elvis that I've ever listened to talk. And just, wow. But yeah, I'm going to go continue listening, and I'll put in all the other clips. So this is going to be a long video. We've been waiting my whole life for this story from Lisa, so I'm going to take my time on it. I'm going to divulge. No, I'm going to put whatever I like into this video. And if you want to stick with it, great. So yeah, see you in the next part. This is what it's going to be. It's going to be very back and forth because I'm just reading and then I'm remembering and then I had a timeout and then I remembered. Because I'm taking breaks because I have to do things. I have to go get my mum to day centre. I have to go get her medication. So I'm having these breaks. And when I was in there, I was thinking about the first part where Lisa was talking about one of the only people to not let her get away with stuff was Joe Esposito, and that he would tell her off and he wasn't scared of her and he wasn't scared of her father. And I was like, that's interesting. That's mega interesting. I just find that intriguing. Yeah. And the other bit that I was thinking about was her relationship with Vernon. I was just sitting in there and I was thinking, wow, she had no relationship with her grandfather, and neither did I. My grandfather was gone. And my other grandfather died when he was 80 something. I think it was like 5. But I had no relationship with either of them. And I just thought, gosh, it's so sad. And for her, she had Vernon, but he was just so authoritative and she just never had that bond. And then when she divulges what she did, she was messing about with his face in the coffin, just some things that you're like, wow, she went there. She went there. She went there to tell us. She didn't hold anything back. She's no sugar-coated this book. This book is warts and all. This book is her at her human level. And she's no treating us for fools. Oh, she's just got me so emotional. Such an emotional read. There's so much in it. You've got to read it. Obviously, this is complete spoilers, but you've got to read it. Part 2. Her honesty is unreal. Lisa's honesty is unreal. Where, when the moments when she's meeting Danny, yeah, and their relationship, how much she absolutely adored him. And he didn't even know Elvis. He didn't even know Elvis had a daughter. He was into jazz. So yeah, but the brutal honesty about their relationship is insane. And the brutal honesty about her ectopic pregnancy, the abortion that she had, and then how she trapped Danny, how she said it. Lisa is one honest human being with such amazing qualities that you could never be mad at her, because she's who she is, and she couldn't sugarcoat it. Unbelievable. But one of the bits that just absolutely soul destroyed me, when she was sitting in the head chair and Priscilla told her, "Get out, who do you think you are? You don't deserve to sit there," or something like that. That floored me. Lisa had more of a right to be on that chair than anybody. She is a Presley. By blood. Yeah, that was emotional. But I'm still reading. I'm still going. So yeah, I'll be back with part 3. Everyone, so another part. We've had the birth of Riley, that $1 million photo. Lisa, Elvis Presley's granddaughter. Here she is. Oh my goodness, the paparazzi, the whole world, crazy. A marriage to Danny, Danny sounds amazing. He really does. Even though the twins, the tobacco. But when he filed for divorce so that she could marry Michael, and how open and honest Lisa is about it, that she obviously went and had relations with Michael, and Danny facilitated her moving on to Michael Jackson, which is just shows you the type of man Danny was and is. Yeah, that whole section on Michael Jackson was so interesting. Unbelievable, really intriguing. And you felt the love there. You felt that they were two kindred spirits, but there was always that, or could it have been after the kiss at the MTV Awards, that it was that first boyfriend again, doing that awful using and wanting children with her because it was that novelty, which is just insane. So yeah, it's very, very interesting, and I totally believe that whole section, and that Lisa had no knowledge whatsoever of anything with Michael, and that they did have a real relationship.
but just warped and toxic, and as real as Michael could allow it to be, I guess. Yeah, super duper interesting. It's been ebbs and flows, ups and downs. I have been in my mind everywhere. I love how Riley puts in her thoughts then. I think it's a genius way to tell a story, because you've got Lisa there, but then you've got Riley coming in and saying, well, my dad told it a bit different, or this is how I perceived at this point. And then you've just got a whole well-rounded book, and it's a wonderful, wonderful listen. I am enjoying it immensely, but so upset as well at the same time. But yeah, I'm going to keep listening, and I'll keep inputting in the little parts. So yeah, speak soon. The part about Ben just got me real hard. That soul bond. But the way Riley was telling it, I felt heartbroken for her. Because it's like that pull of Elvis pulled Lisa to have that closeness like Gladys had with Elvis, and she had that closeness with Ben. It's a natural thing to happen, a mother and a son. But for Riley to know it, it upset me that she knew it. I've got 2 sons, so I don't know, I'm lucky, because to have a daughter, I wouldn't want her knowing. And I can imagine now, Lisa, if she was still here, she wouldn't want Riley to have felt that. But Riley did feel it. But the part about Ben, of how much he reminded her of Elvis in every possible way. But then at the end, when she said he didn't stand a chance, because he was so like Lisa and nothing of Danny, which is just so sad, so very sad. What a part. She's so raw. This is one of the most rawest autobiographies I've ever read in my life. I've never seen such honesty from someone in the limelight that I've read anyway. I mean, there's probably lots in the great scheme of the world, but she's just so raw and honest, it's insane. That part about Bren really, really upset me. But also how beautiful Riley was talking about Ben, and how much she knew that their bond was so, but she held no animosity towards the bond, which says a lot about Riley also. And it says a lot about Riley that she never edited her mother. Because there is a worry when you have a book coming out that you maybe edit your mother. Because my mum, she's different to me. And maybe I'd want to make her appear softer or less harsh. But she hasn't done that. She's put out what her mum is and was. And that's to her credit, to Riley's credit. Right, I'm keeping on listening. 10 years between Michael Jackson marriage and then into before Michael Lockwood sounds idyllic, and sounds like Riley got her mum at the most precious time and was able to really experience with her mum. And I love how Lisa was so maternal. I love how she focused in on her kids. I love how she didn't let coldness seep through. Oh, I love that she was so strong to do that, which is unbelievable really when you've got someone who's had so much trauma and went through so much. It's testament to Lisa. But it sounds idyllic. I'm listening to this. Obviously Riley explains in the book that Lisa can't, she's in the space when she was doing the interviews of trauma, of negativity, of looking back at all the bad things. So Riley filling in the gaps with the good things that she remembers from these years is so precious, because we get to see it all round, like I've mentioned before. It's a real all-rounded, well-rounded, or should I say, autobiography, because you're getting it from all different aspects, and it really gives a full-bodied view of a person. One of the best things I've ever listened to, as in autobiographies. I can't commend it highly enough. Anyway, going to keep listening. At the part where Priscilla is Nonna, Priscilla is grandmother, and they're trying to bury the hatchet. And Priscilla's a good Nonna, a good granny, but a new parent herself. And Lisa was a new parent, so they were able to connect with each other as parents. But Riley said there was jealousy,
for Lisa of Navarone, because here was Navarone, this gorgeous little baby boy who Priscilla was doting on, and I'm guessing she never had that from Priscilla. Well, we can tell from the book that she didn't have it. Very interesting, but amazing how human beings can try and work through their issues and try and get through to another side of support.
Lab
So
1,
interesting.
10:47.
I'm walking home now, so I'm still listening. I'm still taking it in, but it's quite remarkable to see how they've tried to connect and how having a baby, Priscilla and Lisa having a baby, was able to do that, was able to let them have a little bit more of a relationship. Goodness, the part about her peeking out from at the side of the stage when she's got her singing career and she's looking out for impersonators. Oh, and then Riley, how weird to have a man dressed in a costume as your father watching you sing. It's so strange, isn't it? It's so very strange. And the hell she would feel for having that career because people wanted her to sing with her dad. They didn't want Lisa for Lisa. And that's what struck me when I've done a few reactions to Lisa songs. There are Lisa Marie fans out there who are not Elvis fans, who are Lisa Marie fans. And for those people, I salute you. Well done. Because that's who she needed. That's who she needed. I was there for Lisa, for her music, because of Elvis. I grew to love Lisa's music and I grew to love her songwriting. But I found her through her dad. And therefore it's different. So for those people who found her without Elvis and had Lisa in their heart, to them, they're the people that she needed in her career, for her career. Yeah, that just floored me, that part. She had so much stuff to navigate. I wonder about Priscilla's relationship with Lisa. And Lisa wrote the song Raven for her mum. And her mum absolutely loved it. Priscilla loved it. And for a time, Riley says they were thick as thieves, getting drunk together, having fun together. Priscilla would go on tour. And that's just like what we were saying earlier about a human adult relationship can change. And you can evolve over time and become better. And reflect back on how poor you were back in the day. And it's if the other party's willing to forgive. And I'm guessing they were, for a time, able to forgive each other. Although I think it must have been hard for Lisa to forgive. But she did, because it's her mother. And we all have space in our heart to forgive, if we can. But yeah, it was nice to hear that there was a reconciliation and they were able to understand each other. It was also interesting earlier on in the book that Riley made the observation, and I was thinking it at the time, when they were saying about what important horses were to Lisa. And they used to go up to, I forget where the place was called, but they would go up and she would show the horses to Riley and the girls. And Riley puts in the observation, and just before Riley said it, I thought, gosh, there's common ground for Lisa and Priscilla. If only they had known that they had common ground. And Riley said she had the same as her mother, that love of horses. And and she was more similar to her mum in some ways, not just the negative aspects. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Again, her time in England sounds idyllic. Amazing how much Lisa was connected to the spiritual world though, and she found many houses haunted in Ireland. Unbelievable, the house that she was close to Brighton, that it was haunted in the one room. But the fella who had lived there before had shot himself in the barn, and that was their living room now. Wow. But from the book, I'm finding a lot of spirituality in Lisa. The past lives, ghosts, premonitions, feelings. She was able to know that girl was pregnant when she hadn't even told anybody. So Lisa had that connection to the other worlds that she would feel. And it's so sad that she never got that chance to really develop that further as well as live that idyllic life, gardening, cooking a little bit more, doing all those things that she wanted to do. But that addiction was looming. And because of the spirituality and the premonitions and the knowledge she'd have, she knew that that was coming. Who's to know? And she said about her dad dying at 42 and that she was 39 and she was gearing for it. And we've always said that Elvis had the same thoughts for his mother when she passed away at 46, but they did think initially it was 42. And then he passed away at 42. You can see that there would be that thing about numbers and age. But I really, really wish that this chapter would finish now and that Lisa would say, and I'm here still now in my idyllic country residence, writing this book to you, dear reader. But instead we know the ending. Incredibly sorrowful part about Lisa's addiction and how it brought everybody down in the family. Everybody could feel it. And Riley was the non-pirate, and they were all pirates. I have experience of that in a way, and I understand it. I understand Riley's point of view. It is hard to be the serious one and the one who's not the party animal, and to be considered the round peg in a square hole. And it's difficult, and I can see how upsetting that was for Riley and how much on her shoulders, because she's the strong one. And I really hope people are going to watch out for Riley, because the strong ones are strong until they're not anymore. So I hope there's someone rooting for her, but I think there is. She's got her big Ben. We're at the part now where Ben, young Ben, is becoming addicted to alcohol in himself. He's struggling. So it's going to be emotional. But I'm keeping on reading. We're at the part now with Ben, who's taken his own life. Absolutely devastating. It's just soul destroying. But when the words of Lisa came out on the audio saying that the people who, it's a misconception about suicide, and the people who are talking about it are not going to do it. But it was along those lines, and it made me think about this Instagram post that I saw very recently, and they were talking about suicide and mental health, and there was the man there who was so jovial and so happy, and there was a guy beside him who was so quiet, and they were at a football match, and the man who was really, really happy was having the best time of his life, and it kept going back and forth like they were at a new game. And it may not have happened like that, I might be paraphrasing, but the message is the same. And the quiet guy, you assume, is the one with the mental health issues. And at the end, they're at another game, but the one that's missing is the one who was jovial and who was having the laughs and having the joy. And the one who was quiet is still there. And he had been lost to suicide. And it just made me think of that what Lisa was saying was right, and that suicide and mental health can appear in all ways. You can be quiet and aloof, but you can also be the one who's the joy and soul of the party, or you can be both. And it just made me think of that, and how emotional that is. And when Riley said the last line then, the second man that she ever loved was gone, it just broke my heart. Another time. It's truly soul destroying. For Lisa, I can't even imagine her pain. Simply can't imagine the death of a child and the hell that would bring. Seeing his face, such an emotional part of the book. And like Riley said, she knew the minute she told Lisa that every time that she spent with her after that was a bonus and precious, because this would change everything. What an emotional part. Poor Ben. It's devastating to see the impact of mental health on a person. and how it's so hard to save someone who doesn't want to be saved. That's so difficult.
Hello folks. So I've got to the end of this beautiful book. It's Lisa Marie and Riley Keough, From Here to the Great Unknown, a memoir. This was an emotional read. It was, as you can tell, you can see, I have been crying all day long, from the start to the end. And I know the last words from Lisa were that what's the point in being strong? I'd rather someone took away something from it. And I did take lots away from it, that she was strength personified, so strong to get through all the ups and downs of her life, from losing her father to navigating teenage years to sexual abuse, and all the way through a life full of ups and downs. And she managed to do it, and she did it with strength. And when she lost her Ben, for her to stay so strong is testament to her strength, and that her wish was to help people to go through grief. And I think that just shows the type of person that she was, and that if she had survived, then I think that would have been her calling. Or maybe she would have got back into music, songwriting. That's a way to take out all your emotions. A big thing I got from it was Riley. Riley really spoke to me in this, because I felt her throughout it, and how she has been a pillar from the start until the end. And I hope she's got the same networks of support in her life. I'm sure she does. She's got a beautiful daughter and a beautiful husband and beautiful friends, it seems. So I really do hope that she has the network, because she's went through such similar trauma that her future will be full of ups and downs in the emotional department when it comes to such a family full of tension and differences. It was glorious, but it was emotional. If you're going to read this, it's going to be an emotional read. I don't think I could read it again now. It takes too much out of you, and that's just me reading it, so imagine living it. So yeah, Lisa Marie Presley was one heck of a woman. I will take this from it. She was badass. She told it like it was. She didn't take it bullshit. And like Riley said at the end, she'd be the one that would tell God no. I really believe that. I truly believe that she would have. I think she was one of a kind. And I think her dad, if he had survived, would have been like, wow, Lisa, you're some girl. He would have probably thought she was a hoot. And then everything would have turned out differently. But like it was said in the book, you have to have things happen to you the way it's supposed to happen. Things are mapped out for you. And I loved what Riley said, that you've just got to go through. That's how you get through life. You just go through it. You power through it. And you face head on whatever's there. And don't shy away from it. Don't get away from it. Just power through it. And yeah, that resonated with me big time. So yeah, this has been a mashup of thoughts, views, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. Thanks so much for joining me, and please, if you're feeling anything mentally or you need someone to chat to, reach out to someone, please. It's essential. And take care of yourself, everyone. Lisa Marie effing Presley. She is the bomb. All right, take care. Bye, everyone.